to say I'm surprised and delighted. I came to India fully prepared for us to lose 3-0. But the shorter forms of the game, I think, have eroded the classic test match. Sometimes one team is on top, then a couple of wickets fall and another team's on top. Indian players. I think some of them comport themselves in a way that looks extremely arrogant.
So hello and welcome back to Cricket Next. मैं ताऊस रिजवी फिर से आ गया हूँ एक नया अपडेट लेकर, and I have somebody who is very very special and who is very excited actually, and he never expected New Zealand to dominate in this series. So I have Peter Cardel, who's come all the way from New Zealand. He's visited India 4 times before, but not for cricket. This time he's come for cricket, and he's surprised with the result right now. New Zealand is leading this particular series, and in fact they've won the series, the 3-match series against India. They are 2-1 up. In fact, the match is right now, the third test match is going on. But let's not talk about the third test match. It's a dead rubber. Even if India wins, doesn't matter, because New Zealand has won the series. Peter, are you surprised?
Yes, I would have to say I'm surprised and delighted. I came to India fully prepared for us to lose 3-0 because we're playing one of the great test playing nations of the world. I mean, not to forget the fact that we did beat them in the World Test Championship at Southampton a few years back. But some of these legendary players, and in Indian conditions, I thought it was highly unlikely that we would win a test match. When we won the first match so easily, really, by 8 wickets, I was absolutely delighted. When we won the second, I was astonished and amazed. And now that we're in a strong position, although I think it's still in the balance, at lunchtime on the third day here at Wankhede, I'm over the moon.
Over the moon right now. I don't want to talk about the third test match. It's going anywhere. But what could be the reason? I mean, you didn't have Kane Williamson, obviously. I mean, the legend of the game. You won without Kane Williamson. That's a big thing. You did not win during the times of Daniel Vettori, one of the greatest spinners in world cricket. You have a Mitchell Santner who didn't play the third test, but then played a crucial roles in the first 2 test matches. So what exactly was the reason, the secret behind New Zealand's victory? What do you think? I don't want to talk to the cricketers. I want to know from the fans' perspective.
Well, yeah, I mean,
the fans are honest. They are on the face. Cricketers are neutral, diplomat.
I should make the point that I'm not a cricket specialist. I'm a Test cricket fan. I don't much care for the shorter forms of the game. It seems to me that India has been the author of its own misfortune in this series. I mean, of course, the toss in the first set turned out to be very important, and Tom Latham said he would have batted too. That was perhaps unfortunate that Rohit made the wrong call there, or what turned out to be the wrong call. But there has been some astonishing capitulation. I have to say there's been some pretty shocking capitulation on the part of the New Zealanders at times too. I think that ungainly heave of Rachin Ravindra in the second innings here astonished me. But the innings that Rishabh is playing now is a gritty innings suited to the circumstance. I don't think that India has done that a lot. And so I think that in many ways, while I'm not taking away anything from the New Zealanders' achievement, I think that India has lost these games as much as New Zealand has won them. Having said that, I think the boys have played with great grit and self-belief in sometimes fantastically trying conditions. And I think there is a kind of a grit at the centre of the New Zealand character, which makes us pretty good when we're up against the wall. Yeah,
absolutely. Peter, tell me one thing. I mean, are you amazed with the performances of Indians playing at home, playing at in their own conditions, in their own den? There were some rank turners. There was Mumbai. Pune was supposed to be a rank turner, and India has dominated over the years. They have not let any of the teams win. were you amazed by India's performance or the way they played the game?
Again, you're probably calling for a bit of a specialist commentary that I'm not necessarily.
As a fan, I
was surprised. I was surprised and delighted. There was some pretty damn good spin bowling from Washington and Jadeja here. But you know, our spinners, especially Mitchell in the second test, have done fantastically well too. So I think it's been pretty evenly balanced. Yeah.
Evenly. And tell me exactly. Your plan was to come to India to watch test matches, enjoy the games.
Correct. I've been to India.
What was the whole experience?
You said 4 times before. This is my 4th trip. But the other 3 times have all been just to look around. I've looked around mainly the north, the great tourist hotspots, Rajasthan, Delhi, Varanasi, Agra. I went up to Himachal Pradesh. I've been to Kerala, Bangalore and Kerala. But this trip arrived 2 days before the first test, and I'm leaving 1 day after the 3rd test. So I'm here entirely to watch cricket. That's all I'm doing, because I love test cricket.
You love test cricket. How many people are there in New Zealand who love test cricket and who love IPL?
Well, I don't know. I really couldn't speak to IPL. I mean, there'd be a fantastic amount of following among the Indian diaspora in New Zealand, and certainly when India plays in New Zealand, the crowds are pretty big of Indian immigrants. But I don't think it's probably widely followed in New Zealand beyond that. Test matches are generally rather poorly attended. Again, they would be boosted when India's there with the local Indians, and a test match against Australia will often get a reasonable crowd. But for days in test matches, crowds of 3,000 or 4,000 are not uncommon. They're really not uncommon.
Since you are a cricket fan and you also follow IPL.
Test cricket fan.
Test cricket
Don't
fan.
follow IPL at all.
Don't follow IPL. So do you think IPL is one of the reasons that Indians have been struggling with batting or scoring big runs? Are they missing Pujara kind of batters?
Well, I've been watching Test cricket for more than 50 years now, well, more than 60 years now, and I think the shorter forms of the game, they become shorter and shorter, aren't they? Pretty sure it's going to be 1 over each way. But the shorter forms of the game, I think, have eroded the classic test match technique which enabled games to go on for 5 days. I mean, three-day tests are the standard now. It's extremely uncommon for a test match to go even to a 4th day, certainly to a 5th day. But when it does, that's when the game is at its best, as far as I'm concerned, because it's got so much ebb and flow. It's like a great opera or Shakespearean drama, you know. Sometimes one team is on top, then a couple of wickets fall and another team's on top. And that's what I love about it. It's so engrossing.
So would you say, like, people are talking about in India that IPL, they're blaming IPL for India's test collapse, would you say, or India's test batting failure, the kind of attitude the approach they have, the aggressive. Do you feel that could be one of the reasons?
Well, yes, I wouldn't disagree with that. Having said that, there are some New Zealanders in the IPL. I think maybe they are able to dial themselves back a bit when they get into the test arena. I will say also something that I've noticed here as a fan, and I hope you'll forgive me for saying so, but some of the stars here of Indian cricket are worshipped as gods. In New Zealand, they're not. I mean, admirers of cricket know that Kane Williamson is one of the great batsmen of all time, but they don't worship him as God. He can walk down the main street of town and people might go, oh, there's Kane Williamson, but they won't rob him and they won't scream. And I think sometimes this has gone to the head of some of the Indian players. I think some of them comport themselves in a way that looks extremely arrogant. I can't think of an example. Well, actually, here's an example right now. Just when Rishabh Pant got his 50, he punched the air as though it was a great achievement, and it is a great achievement. But under the circumstances, I think a New Zealander saying, you know, your team's 6 wickets down, and you're the only batsman who's performed slightly, and you've got to 50, he'd raise his bat to the dressing room but he wouldn't run around glorifying himself as having made a magnificent achievement. He'd say, well, I've survived, we've got more work to do. And I think that's something to do. There's a, excuse me, New Zealanders have one of the great characteristics of the New Zealand temperament is the sort of modesty and understatement. I invite you to look at the moment when Rachin Ravindra and Will Young walked off at the end of the first test where they just won by 8 wickets. They weren't jumping and screaming, they kind of bumped each other's shoulders and laughed at each other almost shyly. They didn't exult in their win. And that to me was classic New Zealand, the kind of modesty, not kind of lording it over your opponents. And I think, that kind of modesty in which people contain themselves is perhaps part of the character that makes New Zealanders achieve in cricket anyway.
Absolutely. One last question about, you have seen Test cricket, Connoisseur, you love the game, and definitely you might have seen the two greats, Indian greats, Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli. What do you think, where their future is heading?
Oh, I couldn't possibly comment on that. One of the disappointments of this series, I suppose, is that I haven't seen either Rohit or Virat in their pomp. I was really looking forward to that. I really thought, I will come here, New Zealand will win, lose all 3 tests, but I will see some magnificent batting by 2 of these great, and there's other ones in there, Rahul as well too, of course. Pant. That 6 that he put Tim Southee out of the stadium in Bangalore. To see these Indian greats in their pomp, I was really looking forward to that, and it's been a great disappointment. I think Kohli got a 68 or 70 or something, but everything else has been single figures practically, and that's been a shame. They've obviously both had they've been in bad form. And I would have liked to see more, but I've seen Sachin Tendulkar play in New Zealand, and no doubt I'll see Kohli again. I'll see them again playing in New Zealand, and hope to see them at their very best.
Anyway, congratulations for this amazing victory,
well,
Peter.
Let's see.
I hope you will be celebrating this, even though if you lose this particular game.
50-50, I think.
50-50, but then you have won the series.
Yeah.
So that's quite a part of.
It's an amazing achievement.
It's an amazing achievement. Yes. Thanks for talking to Cricket Next, and keep coming here, keep coming with the New Zealand team, and I think you should also watch IPL. The perception might change, and IPL is completely changing the game.
Yes, I'm sure it is, but I'm an old-fashioned sort of cricketer.
Thank you so much.
Okay, mate, all the best.
So that was Peter, the New Zealand cricket fan, all the way from New Zealand to watch New Zealand play India, and he's happily going back home with 2-0, 2-1. Let's see, or maybe 3-0. Yeah. Thanks for watching Cricket Next. We are going to get a lot of stories from the world of cricket and other stuff. Goodbye for now. Do subscribe, like, share, and share it on other handles as well. Goodbye.